Hey, g'day guys, it's Calvin from the Cartoon Company in New Zealand. Today we're doing some diagnosis work for the single guy over in Canada. He speaks funny. He sent me some videos. He's got a funny accent. So anyway, sending videos, doing testing, and it's actually really interesting to see the videos and interpret what's going on. And it's a bit of a challenge. It's kind of adds to the dynamics of being in a workshop. And it's kind of fun, actually. We started off with emails. And I should actually mention, we kind of get on pretty well, but also customer. There is an arrangement. So if everyone else says, hey, can you diagnose my car over the internet? Well, there is some rewards for me out of this as well. But it's going to make a good video. I got up this morning and I thought I'm going to do cam and crank sensors. Kind of had a little bit of an idea of what I was going to say in my head. And then Mike sent me some messages. My life changed. That's all good. I got a lawnmower to fix. I didn't know I was going to fix that this morning. Pulled a diff out of a vehicle powered by a 1UZ. Pretty sure I was going to find broken diff. And I did. We'll have a quick look at that. See this little piece here? Well, I don't think... I suspect that's the problem. I think if we left it in there long enough, it would probably fall out. It would be ground up and fall out, and that would solve its problems. With the diff, it was winning. Like, it's had constant battles with the engine. The vehicle's got the small gearbox, and I've seen the videos. That diff's done really well. But it's time for a new one. Oh, traps for Australians. I gotta be careful when I'm in Australia, because I see a possum and over here they're a pest, so we get rid of them. And I'm probably frowned at if I did that in Australia. But anyway, diagnosing, and we're just gonna have a little bit of a recap on a couple of little things and on power supplies, just really quickly. And then we're gonna get into the main purpose of this video. I might even put up the couple of videos that Mike sent me, so you can see what he's doing and what I'm doing, and maybe even the one I just sent back to him, which was kind of funny. It might contain some language that isn't appropriate, but we're going to do it anyway. And then we'll have a bit of an explanation and actually do some proper testing. Now, something to remember is my engine runs. Mike's car doesn't run. Mike's car is his date car. And he's not getting his rocks off because his car's not going, and he's having to fix it in the shed, meaning less time to go search for people to get rocks off with. This is not appropriate. And being a single guy myself, I kind of understand. We can relate. And whilst I probably prefer bacon and eggs or pancakes for breakfast, Mike's breakfast of choice would be omelettes. That's, of course, after a busy night of adult time. Just to give Mike a hard time, my engine runs, but you've connected yours perfectly as per mine. You've worked out the diagrams. That's awesome. Hey, and I liked how you were able to identify the plugs for the coil connectors. That's really good. So let's have a bit of a look. So quick recap. 3-pin plug, Soarer SC400 loom, 1 wire, 2 wire, the third wire is starter motor. We connect it together. Igniters are earthed, not very well, but they're earthed. We chuck some fuel in it. No cold start injector, so I might need some encouragement, and we crack some stuff. She is feeling a little bit abused, this old Yellow, after my last exercise. Come on, go, properly. So mine is a working engine. We don't need to run it again. That's just making sure that that's right. I do actually have fuses. We're going to get my test light. Okay, we're going to go around here. Very quickly, as I said earlier in video number 1, here's an injector. These plugs are stuffed and they're hard as rocks. I got power there. I got power at both sides of my injectors, so that is normal. If you look at the first video, we remember the light bulb test, where it has power to both sides of the component until it's activated, it's turned on. Turned on probably isn't the right term. Coil, power there. I'm not having as much luck getting into my, and power there. Mike was testing at this 4-pin plug at the top here, which is great. So that's there and there. So that is normal. That's good. However, his one was a little bit different. So let's have a look at that video and see what we've got.
Okay, here we go. Videoing again. I got this fuse block that I just bought from Amazon today because fuses aren't for pussies. So I got that hooked up, going to the 3-pin, going to the center there. As per your test. So here's the connector. Can you see that? No, you can't see that. Move it up a little bit. There we are. Okay, this connector is split. There's one. You still can't see that. There's one so that you can see the light. And 2. And you can see that sucker is sharp. So anyway, coil is disconnected down here, and this, it shouldn't be live anyway because this is disconnected. So now I couple it up. Broken tab. I got juice here in pin 1 and also in pin 2. And over here, same story. Can you see that? If you can make that out. Pin 1 has got juice. Pin 2 has got juice. I'm doing this one-handed. This is on my spare motor. So I got the battery hooked up, power going over here to the fuse block. I'm coming out of here. This is good. You can see that. Fuck, I gotta point the camera at. Okay, so there we go. So power into the center pin. Woo! Just knocked that over. And here we go. There's, you have to take my word for it. Pin 1, it's got juice. Pin 2 does not. Pin 3 and pin 4 neither got juice. So this guy's got juice. This guy does not. So over on the car, both of these pins have got juice. And look at how sharp that puppy is. I filed it so I can go right into the contacts. Also goes into my finger.
So after I got Mike's videos, I finished my lunch, came back to the workshop, and I had a really quick test. So let's have a look at that video that I sent through to him. Yo, Mike. Mike igniters are plugged in. Test light. Coil.
Power. Power. Unplug the coil. This is going to be tricky. I can do it. I got no power. I've got power there. I don't have power there. Remember, my motor runs where yours doesn't. Think that's an issue, buddy.
Right, so we've watched the video I got back and I went, hey, that's not right. I want to have a look at that. So I wasn't completely sure. So I unplugged my coil here. Closest to the tab, I have voltage. The other side, no voltage. So we're going to plug that back in. We'll go around by the igniter. I'm going to pop in here. The igniter, I've marked them up left hand and right hand. This is 12 volts to the igniter right here in the middle pin. We have a trigger, we have a feedback. We have the tacho and we have the coil output. You see there's a big blue wire there, a big blue wire up here, which you probably can't see because it's too far away. So I don't have, I will have power here. See, I've got power there, so that's fine. And it's going through the positive, through to the coil. Unplug the coil. No voltage. Plug it into the igniter. We're back at the coil, igniter plugged in, power at that side, nothing at that side. Round to the igniter, no voltage. I plug the coil in. It's a bit of a stretch for me. Coil in, coil off. In, out, off, in, out, in, out. So
Kelvin, I'm just going to run you through real quick what I got going on here. So I've got some start enhancement there. I love the name, Liquid Fire. Scared the shit out of my ex-wife. Anyway, coil's hooked up. Igniters are hooked up. Just about to hook up the battery. Here's my fuse block, which I wouldn't have known to use unless I saw your video. I've got that plugged into the 3-pin connector off of these fuses here. The start trigger is going to be unfused. I'll just go to the battery with that. That's this black wire. And I think that's it. I've previously checked continuity on the crank sensor, and both the cam sensors are hooked up. And this is my auxiliary rear battery mount. And I've got my nut buster. You'll love that. Look at that. Anyway, and I'm just in the throes of selling that van, so I'm busy as fuck. So I can hear the pump running. However, I just discovered something. Come over and check the snubber, and that screw is not raised. So I could, with all my starting dicking around, I might have run this thing out of gas, but let's find out. So I'm just going to hook up the battery here. There we go. Battery's hooked up. I'm going to give that fuse block some power. There we go. And now for some starter enhancement. Just going to lean you up over here. Oh, that was pretty handy. Okay. Liquid Fire. All right, fingers crossed. Oh, I'll put that on there. And Here we go.
Now, for those of you that were paying attention of my engine running on 2 cylinders, there's actually lots of really good information in there. And hey, thanks for the guys that did actually pay attention and got the purpose of it. Not only is it entertaining, but hey, there's lots of lessons to be learned in there. And it's times like this, or when you have problems, that generally our learning gets expanded. I did not know that a 1UZ will run with both cam sensors unplugged. I do now. It won't start, but it will run. So our next video, I'll do some cam and crank sensor testing, because there's some good information there. And it kind of fits with this diagnostic video, and while I've got Old Yeller set up on the Soarer loom. And as for Mike, well, we'll continue with his.
Hi Calvin, bit of a late start today. I had to go visit a client this morning. I really do live in a Dilbert world. If you don't follow Dilbert, that's it's genius. Anyway, so I don't know if I showed you this, but this is my intake. So it's a traction control, which I just thought I'd show you. All sorts of vacuum lines, California compliant. I'm jealous of your New Zealand standards. Same air meter as you, plastic insert, metallic body. I got the hydraulic fan there that I cleaned up. Just rebuilt that guy. That was kind of fun. Made a mess. Okay, over here on the motor, spare motor for this test. No cam sensors, no crank sensor. Oh, yeah, actually I do have a crank sensor in. I lied. So I've got the 92 ECU plugged in, and it was just because my 93 ECU was giving me fits. It took me a little while to figure it out, but this plastic bit came off the plug there, and I was just refusing to go together until I compared, and I thought, oh, okay, this yellow bit doesn't belong, so I fished it out. Anyway, so I've got power here, grounded to the plate. I've isolated. I see you're doing that. I'm picking up a few things from you. And oh, by the way, I hope Project Jailbait went well for you, or actually it's probably Project Young Neediness, although Project Jailbait does have a ring to it. In any case, so here I am over here, one-handing it. I'm getting better at this. So on that's pin 1, I got voltage, or is that pin 2? It's kind of weak, and I think this over here is pin 1. It's brighter. So the bottom line on this is with the igniters in, which I forgot to mention. The igniters are plugged in. There's voltage on, or current on both of these guys. Gotta learn to point the camera. Current on both of these guys, just as was on the car. So I'm gonna suggest that this is probably what's meant to be, because I was pretty gentle pulling this thing all apart. But I could say the same thing with this car. I was pretty gentle pulling that apart, and look at the state I'm in. Up on stands and not impressing my dates.
Hey, morning, Mike. It seems that you've got a semen build-up and it's not causing you to think properly. So we're just, I had it all set up. Just hold there for a moment. And not to rub it in, but you know, semen build-up does cause you not to think properly. And one of us isn't firing on all cylinders, and one of us certainly is. So I've got power at this one, which is good, okay, and the coil plug, yep. And I've got a little, see, look at the test light, see how it's not very bright? See, here's my igniters, not to rub it in, but my engine runs, okay, but watch, take the igniter, and I'm going to earth it. I brought them over here so we can. Watch what happens. That one goes away, look, glow, not glow, glow, not glow. So when the igniter's earthed, see, it doesn't allow an earth in there. I mean, it doesn't allow power. But when it's not earthed, it's not dropping the voltage. If we unplug the igniters, Hayden, unplug the igniter for me. Go on, it's no clip, just pull it. There we go. See, no power and power. Hey, hope that's helpful.
So just to recap, my engine runs, Mike's engine doesn't run. He's got a spare engine that he's testing on as well, which is interesting too. So he's doing some learning. I've got power to my coil. When I have my coil plugged in, there's power at both terminals to the igniter. When I unplug my coil, I lose power to the trigger pin, where Mike has power to the trigger pin.
Okay, Kelvin, I'm showing you this because this is my winter car that I drive in the snow, although this thing's getting scrapped this weekend because that rust is the fucking enemy. And I've owned this car since 1990, 550,000 kilometers, but it's going to get retired too. Look at what just showed up on my driveway. Oh my, this is a rust-free Survivor. Look what's missing. Evil thoughts. So this is the bracket I just pulled out of the car, and I sandblasted it and coated it with POR 15, which is a super duper coating paint. It looks to me like there's no conductivity. So I think this is the dumb blonde of brackets. Looks good, doesn't work worth a shit. So if what I think is the case here, I think your electrical 101 is too advanced for me. And I promise, I have not tested this. I'm just doing this now. I thought for sure that this would be the problem. And I'm saying for sure, I came to this realization last night after a Wake the Neighbors toe curling happy ending. So there's the old igniter bracket, the original uncoated. 3-pin over there has got power to the 2 reds. The black is the starter wires going through the fuse box. Thank you for that suggestion. And I have not used starter juice, but... Fucking it!